Hey everybody, it's Mr. Renner again, and we are here on Wednesday. Well, it will be Thursday tomorrow when you're watching this to talk about our vocabulary and a really cool article about sending robots to Mars. Okay, so first of all, you can get out your notebook and let's look at some vocabulary. Okay, we have 5 new words this week, and they all have something to do with the work that scientists do exploring space and exploring the rest of our solar system. The first one is occupation. Occupation is just another name for a job. It says the work that someone does regularly to earn a living. A person's occupation is his or her job. My occupation and Ms. Becker's occupation and Ms. Moore's occupation are all teachers. Here's one occupation. This is astronaut, someone who is trained to travel in space. It is their occupation to travel in space, and you need a lot of special training for that. Challenge. A challenge is a test of someone's abilities. Runners give themselves a challenge to run farther and faster. And sometimes we give you challenges to see if you can learn more math facts or a challenge to see if you can read a higher level book. Immense just means very big. This is an immense elephant. Also, the planet Jupiter is immense. It is huge. And pressure, the amount of force or power that's being used in a certain area. I like to say that pressure has to do with pressing. When you press on something, you make a lot of pressure. Air pressure is the force of air. There is a lot of air inside here pressing on that tire. Okay, there we go. I got it sharing now. Okay. Now we're going to be turning to our source book. Get out your turtle book, your green source book, and open to page 402. You can pause the video if you need to, but we're going to be reading on page 402. Two things I want you to pay attention to as I read this story and you read it with me. The first, expository. Whoops, excuse me. Expository means they are explaining something to you. So try and figure out, how is this text, how is this section here explaining missions to Mars to you? What sorts of ways do they explain it? And secondly, one of the strategies we're teaching you is classifying or sorting information. What is a way that we are sorting some of these objects to go to Mars? And I'm going to show you one way that scientists classify or sort planets in a little bit. But now you are open to page 402. It's called Missions to Mars by Michelle Sale. Unlike Earth, Mars is a dry, rocky, cold planet. Life is non-existent there. There are deep valleys, dusty plains, and huge mountains on Mars. One mountain on Mars is the largest in the solar system. It is an inactive volcano. How do we know all this? Scientists use instruments such as flybys, orbiters, and rovers to study Mars. A flyby is a small robotic spacecraft. It flies past a planet and takes hundreds of photographs. Flyby missions gathered the first close pictures of Mars. These pictures showed large craters and the dry, red-looking soil on Mars's surface. An orbiter travels around a planet to study it. One Mars orbiter got caught in a dust storm that lasted a month. Later, it discovered a huge canyon on Mars. The canyon is about 4 times the size of the Grand Canyon in Arizona. The orbiter also found 2 small moons. So we have 2 robots that they send to Mars. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Landers travel on the ground. Most look for signs of life, such as tiny creatures that are invisible to the eye. Landers discovered that the soil on Mars is very dry. Plants cannot grow in Martian soil. Scientists also use rovers. I'm going to pause here for a moment. 2 weeks ago, before we had spring break, I showed you a video of the Mars. It's called the Preservation Rover. Perseverance, Pressure. I can't remember the name of the rover, but I showed you one of the robots called a rover. It's this type of robot that they sent to Mars. It is still there, traveling around and taking video. And maybe I'll show you another one tomorrow. So let's read about what a rover is. What is that robot I gave you a video of? Scientists also use rovers. A rover is a remote controlled car. One rover was delivered to Mars by a parachute. We saw that. It took pictures and examined rocks. It even kept track of weather on Mars. In the future, scientists may use special airplanes to explore Mars. They are also building spacecraft to look below the ground for water. Scientists hope to bring rock samples back to Earth. Perhaps a new type of spacecraft will be able to do it. Yeah, so far, this is very interesting. Scientists hope to bring back samples to Earth. Bring back. Right now, it's really hard to get any of those robots back to our planet. They can send things through radio signals and they can send things like through the internet, but the robots themselves have to stay there. That's one reason why people can't go there. But we're hoping to change that. Here, this is a picture of a rover. This is an antenna for communication. That's how they send signals back to Earth. There's a camera to take pictures. Those look like eyes. They really are. They are looking and taking pictures of everything. Solar panels for energy. These things also. These make energy out of the sun's rays. There's some wheels and, of course, an arm that gets some samples. So now that we learned about these missions to Mars on page 402, we're talking about classifying and categorizing. That means putting things into different kinds of groups. And here they have some categories about those robots. One of them travels on the ground, the other two travel by flying. So these two would go together, and then the lander and also the rover would travel on the ground. Here's another one, and I'm actually going to send this to the kids in my class if they want to try this themselves. This is a planet match. It's like a planet sorting activity. I'm going to be a sample student. And here we have all of the pictures of the planets. And I think you can remember. If you can't, you can go back and look earlier in your book at the part about the planets. But even just by looking at them, the gas giants, which ones are the ones that are mostly made of air, and which ones, like the Earth and like Mars, are mostly rocky? Which ones have the mountains and the volcanoes and the craters? Well, I just told you that Earth does. So I can move, whoops, I'm gonna have to flip, excuse me. Yeah, okay, sorry. Here it is, Earth will go to the rocky planet, and so will Mars. Mars was the red one, and we can look on that here. This one is Mercury. Which one was Mercury? Was Mercury a rocky planet, or was it a gas giant? Can you remember? I know that this one with all the rings is Saturn. Saturn also is a gas giant, so we'll put that here. Which of these others is a gas giant, or which one is a rocky planet like Earth and Mars? I can tell you that in your book, yep, here, this is page 372. They tell you on this page which ones are the rocky ones. They say right here, the inner planets are mostly made of rock. And then the other planets, which ones down here are mostly made of balls of gases with rings around them. Okay, so page 372 can give you some answers. And that's how you classify things, okay? Just by putting different things into different groups. We'll be doing more of that tomorrow and next week, okay? Have a good day, everybody. I'll see you later.